just one big story, isn't it?
Hi everybody, welcome to the Story Connection. I'm your host, Donna Wilberg. Everyone has a story, and today my guest is going to talk about what it means to be a volunteer. He currently serves on the City of Sacramento Animal Care Services Advisory Committee. He's a proud animal rights advocate and seasoned volunteer for Front Street Animal Shelter. He is the fabulous host of Sheltered Life, a new volunteer crew member at Access, plus so much more. And he sings. Welcome, Don Henkle.
Thanks, Donna. It's great to be back here on the set with you again.
Well, I didn't know there was so much to you. You're so multifaceted. Plus, you know, we need to catch up and find out what's going on with
the show.
Yeah, because it's such a fabulous show, and I love animals. And
Shelter Life is really blossomed, and you know, we wrapped up season 1, and we're right at the point of launching season 2, and I could talk about that show for the entire segment today. That's how much it means to me. But what it's done is it really has brought forth a solid group of core volunteers at Front Street, and those 6 of us have basically seen this show through the first season. And now as we get ready to look at season 2, we're taking a 180-degree turn. And what I mean by that is, if you look at the first season, it was kind of like, these are the people, these are the employees and the volunteers at Front Street, and this is what they do. So you kind of got this snapshot, right? So that's great, because people need to know that.
right.
But now what we want to do is we want to basically show these people in action at what they actually do at the shelter. So you're going to see kind of a bit more of a reality edge to season 2. And to be honest with you, we're excited, we're nervous about it, but it's going to be really, really important. And those stories to tell, as you always say, are going to be really heart-tugging, because we're going to talk about some of the tough issues, because it's not all about the cute dogs, you know, wagging their tails and the cute bunnies in the window there, or the kittens. There's some tough realities that we're going to bring up on season 2. So it's still going to be entertaining, but there are definitely some tough topics.
What's your response been to the shows that you've already produced and shown, as far as the real deal of what goes on? I know you had an episode where you were actually flying animals to other states so they could be taken care of. What kind of responses are you getting from people?
So that particular one you're talking about is, it was a Wings of Rescue. And Wings of Rescue is a national organization based in Southern California, and their primary purpose is to take animals, primarily dogs, but there are some other ones, from overpopulated shelters and fly them to shelters that have a need for these animals. And Front Street's been a partner with Wings of Rescue for over a year. They really have. And every month, they basically send anywhere between 10 and 20 animals via the air to outlying shelters in Washington, Oregon, Nevada, and Idaho. So that's one of the things. In fact, that snippet was what we called a Shelter Life Extra. And that was about 6 minutes long, and we put that specifically just for our Facebook page. And very, very good response. A lot of views. People were excited to see it. And what was exciting about it was they actually got to see the people from Front Street doing that, loading them on the plane, those animals. It was very inspiring.
Okay.
Very inspiring.
Well, I loved it, and I think you're doing a fantastic job, and I'm looking forward to the new season. And we're actually we're going to show a clip of the new season opening.
You're going to see a big difference. I mean, if we were to compare them side by side, which we won't do, but if we were to compare them side by side on screen, the first season's opening is kind of, I don't want to say popcorn, but it's kind of like, okay, this feels good. This one is a little bit more edgy, a lot more fast-paced. And one of the things that we've learned is that you have to maintain, the human eye has got to have action, right? It's constantly moving. In this day of digital, where everybody's doing this on their phones, you have your eye constantly moving. So you'll kind of see that in the opening. So yeah, it's about 30 seconds long. Let's have a look.
All right, let's take a look. So you've been a retail executive for 30 years, and you must have started when you were 2. But yet your passion is volunteering. Where did that all start?
You know, I always tell people that the retail part of my life is my paycheck, and that's what provides meals and the roof over my head and my health insurance and all that. But the volunteering aspect, I guess I've always kind of liked to help people, but really Front Street is really what brought that out. And, you know, I've been with Front Street over 3 years, and I started Shovel and Poo, and did dog adoption counseling, was a mentor to a lot of new volunteers, helped train the new people on what to do. And then kind of because of that, that's where the show came about. But the volunteer aspect is so rewarding, and I don't think people get that.
Yeah.
You know, there's enough bad news in the world today, and one of the things I always tell people is give back to your community. You're going to feel better if you do. And I truly believe that because every time I leave the shelter, or every time I leave Access Sacramento now after volunteering, you just have this feeling that, hey, this was a really good thing I just did, and we produced this great show, or look what we did at the shelter today, look at the great event we just put on, or the great show we just did. Volunteering, I think, tugs at people's hearts. And I also think it helps to break down that stereotype, because if you've never been a volunteer, some people say, well, why are you volunteering? Don't you have better things to do with your time? I wish I had more time to volunteer, because it is so rewarding.
I think the playing field is sort of leveled when you volunteer, and you're bringing people together that have a goal.
Yep.
And usually it's a very good goal. You're helping something or somebody,
Right.
which gives you that sense of accomplishment, and you know that you're participating in something good.
Right.
You know, so I too, I'm a firm believer in that, and it is so nice to meet someone who also has those same values.
Well, that kind of, you know, the volunteering aspect, I can probably say prior to Front Street, when was it ingrained in my brain? My mom was always volunteering, whether it be church, whether she was a Cub Scout leader or a Girl Scout leader or a Brownie leader. And then I was really fortunate that after high school, I toured with Up With People for a year. So I got to do singing.
What is Up With People?
So Up With People, basically, back then it was 5 casts of 110 people per cast, and they traveled the world, and they sang and they danced, and they put on one heck of a show. And we set the show up, we did the set, we did the show, then we striked it, we packed it all up, we stayed with host families. And so I got to tour, 34 states in the US and like 7 or 8 countries in Europe.
Oh
And
my goodness.
Denmark's my favorite country, by the way. But and that's where you really found my volunteer aspect, because one of the things that they did is in each community we went to, we set a time, whether it's a half a day or a day, and did a community project. So whether you were volunteering to plant a garden or clean up a really dirty corner lot or visiting with people in an old folks home, whatever it was, we did that. That was part of our thing. And then no religious affiliation at all. It was just a really good feel movement type thing. And I wouldn't trade that year for anything.
Does that organization still exist?
It does, on a much smaller scale. On a
Yeah.
much smaller, they're based in Denver now instead of Tucson. But yeah, it's a much smaller scale. They actually just celebrated their 50th anniversary in July.
Okay, so since you brought up singing, we have to launch into your background, because I've heard you had a clip on YouTube on Facebook that was sensational.
Thank you.
So how did you start your singing career? When did you start your singing career?
So I sing when I want to sing now, right? And
Okay.
people kind of say you should sing more, and you sing when you want to sing. But you'll get a kick out of this story. So probably Don's like 3 years old, little rugrat living in just outside Boulder, Colorado. And at that point in time, Shakey's was a really big thing. Shakey's Pizza Parlor, right? So my dad, my mom, my sister, and my brother, we used to always go to Shakey's. Well, they had the banjo player and the piano player, right? Well, I was always a little vocal. I was I was the last one, the last kid, so I would get my way no matter what. But I used to always jump up on stage with them. So what my mom did is she got a straw hat. She made a little red vest, which is what they wore, were red vests. And then they got me a plastic banjo.
Oh, how cute.
Okay, so I would actually get on the stage at Shakey's with the piano player and the banjo and act like I'm playing along with them. From there, it basically went, I was always in choir and drama in high school. I learned to play the guitar. I played a 12-string beautifully for many, many years. I used to write my own songs back in the day. And then it was like, I just kept doing it. So I realized that the arts was something I really, really enjoyed. My AA is in vocal performance, but retail called me because the money was better, right?
Yeah.
I regret that to this day, but that's okay. You learn things in life.
Yeah,
You do. You
it's
learn
not too
things
late
in
to
life.
start.
You learn things in life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can carry a tune occasionally. Yeah. I can.
Well, there's still time, Don.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
only 32.
No.
You
I
still
wish I was only 32. I don't know what calculator you use, but give me one, please.
Well, it's all a state of mind. Okay, so how did you get interested in animals?
I've always had animals. Growing up, and most people will say they've always had an animal when they grow up, dogs, cats, whatever. Our family was no different. And we had a German Shepherd named Ronan for 14 years, and he was a great dog. And we had a little tiny terrier mix named Duffy, and he was a great dog. And they both, unfortunately, left us too soon, within 6 months of each other. So pretty devastating to the home when you lose both dogs in that amount of time. So we went to Front Street, right, looking at the dogs. We went to SPCA, we went to county, went all everywhere. Actually, Front Street was the last place we went to that day. And sure enough, there was this Basset, massive, pitty mix, Wigglebutt. And his name was Hercules.
Aww.
And he picked us that day. And when we adopted him, when we were filling out the paperwork, I just said, you guys need volunteers or anything, And they said, oh yeah, of course we do. And I said, well, what's the requirement? And they said, well, you need to go to orientation and go to this class. I said, okay, what the heck? No idea. No idea that it would turn into what it has turned into today, let alone the doors that have opened because of the involvement with Front Street here at Access, meeting tremendous people like yourself. It's amazing how many other people feel the same way about animals, or how many other people feel the same way about getting the right word out there. And that's really kind of what fostered Shelter Life. When it started, you were gracious enough to bring me and Charles on to launch the show. And it really, really did blossom that year. And we've seen a lot of different aspects that we want to follow up on. And, there was an episode on volunteerism. And, everybody says, well, what's your favorite episode? Well, I have a lot of them because they all mean a lot to me, right? Whether it be talking to Gina one-on-one, whether it be talking to the veterinarian, Doc Warner, who I thought would be my toughest interview. And to me, actually, I think it turned out to be the best show. To the volunteers who are showing their expression of why they volunteer at Front Street. There's so much. There's so much. And the show has great potential.
Oh,
great potential.
Yes, absolutely.
I've got wonderful people working with me, Lorene, James, Caitlin, Lisa. I mean, these people are solid people who are dedicated to the program. It's just sometimes when you're volunteers, it doesn't happen as fast as you want to. But, we've got a plan for that. We've got a plan for that.
Well, you've just really taken flight in my book. You guys are doing so much, and the shelter does so much. I was really surprised to hear all the events that you put on, and you put on the Nutcracker for Christmas.
Yeah, so that happened last year. That was there will actually be an episode of that. But last year was the first year that Front Street collaborated with the Sac Ballet, and basically what they did is they said, hey, you have live animals in this show. Why don't you use them from Front Street? Okay, well, that's a good idea. But we also would like to have them available for adoption in the lobby of the community center, right? Okay, they did that. It was very successful. This past year was our second year doing it again, successful again. And it's good because that's a unique situation. Like you said, we do these different things at the shelter. Most people wouldn't think about adopting a dog, a puppy, or a kitten at the ballet.
No,
right?
No.
But what a perfect marketing opportunity for both ballet and Front Street, because who goes to the Nutcracker? Children, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Families. Who was looking for a cute little dog or kitten? Families. Perfect marketing opportunity. And that's just one aspect, right? We do the big event, Pause to Party, right? Which is obviously the hottest ticket in town because we do it in August at the Auto Museum with no air conditioning.
Yes.
But,
Literally.
you went this year and
Yes.
you saw, I mean,
It was fabulous.
it was packed.
It was packed and it was fabulous.
And that's all donated. I mean,
Yes.
all those restaurants donated that food. All the beverages, the beer, the wine, all that is donated. We have great raffle prizes that are donated. We made $70,000 there this year.
Oh my goodness. Good
that was
for
net.
you.
That was our bottom line net was $70,000. Front Street's always doing something, and you have to, because if you become stagnant and complacent, you're going to lose your followers' interest. And that's what I think is vital with what we do, is making sure that we don't lose your followers' interest and always have something new and exciting. You know, we have a great Facebook page for Shelter Life. Very, very proud of it. And we always, after the episodes air, we will link them right to the Facebook page. We're doing the extras, like Wings of Rescue is an extra. We have a cute little coming attractions extra, like on the cat show. Believe it or not, they have cat shows, just like they do dog shows.
Oh,
That's
nice.
pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
So that's all on our Facebook page, which is Shelter Life, a TV series, facebook.com, right? At Facebook, because we would love to have more people like our page, because every episode can be seen right there. Every episode.
You light up. You just absolutely light up when you talk about Front Street.
You know, people tell me that, and I didn't realize that until I did this project for work about 2 weeks ago. And the front part of I had to do this like minute bio thing, right, on film. So the first 30 seconds is the work stuff, and it's me being work and serious. And the last 30 seconds was my community involvement. Well, I'm sitting on my porch steps with Hercules right by my side, and I'm talking about volunteering at Front Street and being a recipient of the Presidential Volunteerism Award, which I was very proud to get last year.
Oh, very nice.
I mean, and all of a sudden, when I watched that 1 minute, I said, boy, this is really obvious. People had always said, you just beam and light up when you talk about Front Street. Until I saw that, I didn't realize it. And I tell you, it's very sincere. It's very sincere.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
yes, I've known you for some time now,
Yeah.
and it just surprises me. You just light up. It's like someone flicks a switch as soon as you
Yeah.
mention Front
So,
Street. So
go ahead.
your passions, do you have passions for other things as well, or is your focus right now on Front
Focus
Street?
right now is definitely on Front Street and the show, and learning more from Access Sacramento. You know, at my age, it's amazing the doors that are opening. And I love when doors open for me. I really do, because it's like, what's behind that one, you know? Because it's exciting, because you never know where that's going to take you. You never know. And I always say, I will never turn down an opportunity to talk to somebody or learn something new. I just won't. Which brings me to a little bit of a cute segue. The show has been given a really big opportunity for next year, for this next second season. There's an organization called Positive Impact. Positive Impact is a nonprofit that basically works with youth in the Sacramento County Probation Department.
Oh.
So what they did is they partnered with Front Street for the volunteers and for the animals, and what they did is they actually took dogs to the probation center with volunteers, and they taught these young gentlemen how to care for a dog, how to train a dog, and they had guest speakers. I was lucky to be a guest speaker, and I talked about the volunteer aspect, of course. What do I always talk about, right? But it was a really, really moving thing to watch and experience. And then at the end of it, the boys got to take their dogs through an agility course. And they were really proud that they had won, So Amanda Banks is the executive director, and after I was the guest speaker, me and her were talking, and we talked about the show, and I was saying what a great program this is. And I said, God, I'd love to be in there and film this. And I said, but I know there's so many restrictions, you know, they're juveniles, behind the bars, and the whole bit. She goes, let me see what I can do for you.
Yay.
2 weeks later, she sends me an email, probation department has cleared for you guys to film.
Oh, that's
When
fabulous.
we do the second program, which will start probably in January or February. So that'll be a very special episode of Shelter Life, right? And who would have thought that a show like Shelter Life would be able to actually go into an area that technically is not allowed to be filmed, and actually be able to film this particular program. I'm stoked as could be. I mean, I'm like, this is so cool, because it's an opportunity that has been given to us.
Yes.
So of course we're going to make good.
Well,
and do
you
a great
earned
job.
it. You definitely earned it. But you know what? We're running out of time.
I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen.
Can you give your information, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the Shelter Life, go to Facebook and look for Shelter Life, a TV series about Front Street. Please like us. On that Facebook page, you're actually going to see every single episode linked, so you can just click on the link and actually watch the episodes. I think you'll enjoy every single one of them. If you have not even heard about Front Street, I guarantee you're going to learn a great deal about Front Street. Plus, you're going to meet some incredible people, staff, volunteers, they're all there. So like us on Facebook. Got to put my plug in for Front Street. Come visit us at 2127 Front Street. You'll see beautiful adoptable animals and adoptable dogs, and we're always looking for volunteers.
Wonderful. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Story Connection, shall we?
The Story Connection airs the second and fourth Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Our companion show, Paranormal Connection, airs the first and third Thursdays of each month. Each episode repeats the following Friday at 1:30 p.m. and Saturday at 5:30 a.m. Watch these programs online at the same airtimes by going to accesssacramento.org and clicking Watch 17. In the Sacramento region, you can see us on Comcast Channel 17 and on AT&T Channel 99. You can find previously aired shows on the Story Connection YouTube channel. For information on upcoming shows and previous Story Connection guests, go to storyconnectiontv.blogspot.com. You can contact us at storyconnectiontv@gmail.com, and don't forget, find us on Facebook, become a friend, and become a fan.
Well, I hate this when we run out of time, but I have one question. So if you had a mission statement to make about you personally, what would that be?
A mission statement.
A mission statement.
About Don Henkle.
But yes.
I don't know if it's so much of a mission statement or a description of a caring, kind individual who understands the importance of giving back to his community.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, speaking of giving back, I want to thank my fabulous crew, Laura, Ted, Lorene, David, Rick, and Ricky, who just joined us today, and Don, of course. And also, if you have more, if you want to know more about me and my novels, you can go to donnawilberg.com and take a look and see what else I do. So with that, we're out of time, and thank you so much for coming on, and I hope everybody will take a look at Front Street Shelter and the Facebook page.
Thanks for having me back. It was great.
Okay, with that, we're going to say goodbye.